Ja Morant was announced that he is out indefinitely. So let's talk about what this means for the Grizzlies because Ja Morant being out is detrimental to the team for so many reasons. Um, First of all, they lost Desmond Bain. Well, I mean they traded him, so they didn't lose him, but you know they traded Desmond Bain um, for KCP. And one of the reasons that when the trade happened, I said, I believe they traded Desmond Bain because they wanted to pay, Jaren Jackson Jr., which they did end up paying. So I felt like that was one of the reasons why they traded Desmond Bain because his contract was, really large. And to me, he was like the odd man out. And obviously, second apron and all that. So they weren't trade to me. Jaren Jackson Jr. was never, even a question. Like he was never getting traded. Um, and then Ja Morant, we know we've heard like speculations and stuff like that, but I said back then I don't think they are trading him just yet. Now maybe, after this season we see how it goes. Then maybe, they revisit that or maybe mid-season. But I felt like right now wasn't happening. And so, with that being said, Jaren Jackson Jr. gets his, contract, and then literally within 24 to 48 hours later, it's announced that he is going to be out for months because he had toe surgery because he had like turf toe or something like that. So that's that's a huge, well, we talked about it back then, but like, that's a huge loss for the Grizzlies. Like, again, Jaren Jackson Jr. And I don't know when he'll be ready. Obviously, he won't be out the whole season, but like, that was already, not in their favor. And then, like I said, Desmond Bain being traded and stuff like that, he was an integral part of the team. Someone said hello again. Hello. Yeah, I just went live before this and I was talking about LeBron, and his second decision. So if you want to go back and watch that live stream, you are definitely welcome to. I usually don't say it. I just forget, honestly. And also like, I feel like not that I'm forcing anybody, of course, it's everybody has, you make your own decision based on, if you like the content, stuff like that. Um, but I know the common thing is to say, like, subscribe, and there's nothing wrong with that. I should say that. Every time I come on, I should be saying, like and subscribe to the channel, because it helps me grow and helps me reach milestones and, helps me, to be able to make more content for you guys. The larger this channel is, the, easier it'll be to make whoa, English, content in certain ways. Um, I honestly just never say it, but I should. So it is greatly appreciated if you, like, subscribe, you know, watch the videos, and, if you enjoy, of course, again, it's all up to, your discretion, but I should be saying that. I just never say it. Um, and someone said this to me one time recently on the live stream, so I figure I'll mention it again while it's on my mind. Because again, I clearly am not promoting myself enough. Someone said, shout out to this person. They said, I'll buy what you're selling or whatever, or well, whatever you're selling, I'll buy something like that. And my response to that was, well, I'm not selling anything except for the content for you guys to watch. Um, because obviously, this content is free. It's free on social media for you guys to watch, whenever you feel like it. But I was like, oh, but I actually do have merch. I do have merch. If you guys are interested and you want merch with my logos on it and stuff like that, the link is, in the description of all the videos. It'll be there, like the link to my merch. Um, no pressure, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like I don't promote that either, even though I should. So that is also greatly appreciated if you want to purchase any kind of merch. There's t-shirts, hats, joggers. Trying to remember what else is on there. There's like a few different items. Um, I'm very into like holistic and organic and stuff like that. So I know that the t-shirts are organic cotton. I made sure of that because I wanted to also reflect my values and stuff like that. And obviously I have I have the t-shirts, of course, 'cause it's my merch. The t-shirts are soft, in my opinion. I think they're soft and comfortable. Um, and I'm not gonna say that, like, I don't know what it would have felt like if it was non-organic cotton, because I didn't feel the difference, because I didn't get non-organic. But I will say the organic cotton, in my opinion, is pretty soft and comfortable. Um, I know that's organic for the t-shirts. I don't know about the joggers. I don't know if that was an option, because I was limited in what the options were. I had to go based on what they give me. So tangent, but if you guys are ever interested in merch, I do have merch. And again, no pressure, but obviously greatly appreciated if you buy some. And obviously, if you do buy some, share your photos with me on social media. Um, share your photos with me. I mean, like, share a photo with me, like, oh, I have, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to describe it, but you know what I'm saying. Like, share that, you have the merch and stuff like that. And, if I see it, I'll obviously repost it. You know, Instagram will probably be the best place to do that. So, yeah. Anyway, back to the video. Thanks for listening to my rant or my tangent. Um, so, Ja Morant being out indefinitely, going back to the video, is that so Jaren Jackson Jr. is already out. Not good. Don't have Desmond Bain. By choice, but not good. Um, so I already didn't expect the Grizzlies to have this kind of stellar season. I felt like they obviously, are missing pieces in terms of like being closer to a championship. Like they were closer to a championship back in like 2022 when they were crowned like the next team up than they are now, in my opinion, based on what the team was and the landscape of the NBA. Um, but you still have Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. at the time, and you know, talent on the roster. Like, they figure out how to get the most out of their bench, every single year. I think they led the NBA in bench points last year, or they did at some point. They were close to it. So like they maximize their talent. But now Ja Morant being out is crushing for them because he is their guy, their star, and he has missed a bunch of time due to injuries. Well, he missed a bunch of time due to suspension also. He was suspended, but besides the suspension, he has missed a lot of time actually due to injuries. I know it's like it's kind of weird to think about because with Ja Morant, we have seen him play a lot. Like, you don't think of Ja Morant as like an injury prone player, right? Because we've seen him play so many times and obviously play in the playoffs and stuff like that. But he actually has, in the last really since again the 2022, maybe 2023, season. Um, he's had a lot of injuries that have like cost him a lot of time. I feel like, and I don't remember, maybe this was 2024 or 2023. The one where was it Anthony Davis fell on his hand or something like that? Or it was against the Lakers and it was the playoffs. And he went up for a dunk and Anthony Davis took the charge and he landed like on his wrist like really really badly. And then he had that really bad like wrist injury or something. Um I can't remember if that was 2024 or 2023. I don't remember. Um but I feel like since that injury, and again maybe there was injuries prior to that too because I just the timeline's a little fuzzy in my head. But I feel like ever since that though, there's been like injury after injury and then suspension. No offense, again, not trying to bring up the suspension, but it is part of it. Um, but uh, it's been like injury after injury for Ja Morant, and like the injuries that he's having are not like 1 week injuries. Like he's missing like weeks, months at a time, and now with the sprained ankle, it says out. It said out indefinitely. Like a sprained ankle. I'm not downplaying a sprained ankle. Obviously, I'm not saying like he shouldn't be out indefinitely. But typically, when you hear a sprained ankle, we don't hear NBA players being out indefinitely with a sprained ankle, to my recollection. Like, I'm not determining the timeline, I'm not his doctor, but it must be a really significant sprain because, like, we see ankle sprains all the time in the NBA, and again, depending on the severity, could be a week, couple of weeks, couple months, just depends. Um, So his ankle sprain must be really severe if he's out indefinitely already. And this season didn't even start yet. Like, what do the Grizzlies do? Someone said my Bucks are cooked. Oh, sorry. I mean, we're talking about the Grizzlies here, but I am sorry that you feel that way about the Bucks. Are they cooked? I mean, you have Giannis still, so like, you're never cooked if you have Giannis, right? Like, if you have players like Jokic, Giannis, that's my nails making that noise. Jokic, Giannis, LeBron. The decision part two, is he retiring? We'll see. Um, 40 years old LeBron, even still. LeBron, Steph Curry, all those players, like, you're never cooked. Because, like, those guys give you a chance every single night. So, cooked, I would not say. Now, if Giannis, you know, and you know what the interesting thing is? If Giannis requests a trade, or if they decide to trade him, which they would not do without his permission, if that happened, the Bucks, honestly, in my opinion, would not be cooked either. You know why? Because the value that you're getting for Giannis is going to be massive. They know that. Giannis knows that. Every team around the league knows you're not getting Giannis unless you give up a haul. Or, whatever a haul is determined. We can't look at the Luka trade. We can't use that as a measurement. I'm sorry, the Luka trade does not count. Like, that was a obscure circumstance. If you are trading for Giannis, you're giving up something significant, and the significance depends on the team because some teams will have more, picks that are valuable, and maybe the Bucks want that because they don't have any picks. Remember, so picks are valuable to the Bucks. Getting their own picks back could be very valuable too. The Atlanta Hawks, no, they have the Pelicans pick next year. No, they have the Pelicans pick. Is it Pelicans or Bucks? I think it's a swap. I think either way. Um, the Blazers definitely have the Bucks pick somewhere because they traded Dame. So I believe they have a couple of their picks, but getting their own picks back could be very valuable. Um, but the point is, like, are they winning the championship, the Bucks? In my opinion, no. As currently constructed, that's my opinion. But I feel like they're if you're looking at it from with this roster, are they going to win a championship? They're not in the best position. No. So I would look at it as like kind of a tough road for them in that sense. But if you're looking at it as from are they cooked? If you have Giannis, in my opinion, you're never cooked. Because you will have success with Giannis there. Like, they will have some success. How far they go in the playoffs, it depends. Um, Matchups matter, especially, nowadays in the NBA. Um, and then again, like I said, if Giannis wants a trade, you're definitely not cooked because you're going to get something good back. So I would say, from a totality standpoint, they're in a good spot, kind of. But if you're looking at it from like a championship perspective from this season, I still wouldn't use the word cooked because, again, with Giannis, you always have a chance. You always have a chance. It's not like there's nobody else on the roster. Just obviously not the most, you know. I don't even want to say talented because all the NBA players are very talented, but like they don't have the most stacked roster. Um, so it just depends on your perspective. But I'm sorry you think they're cooked. I'm sorry you feel that way, but I don't think you should feel that way. I really don't. I think you're in. Let's put it this way: the Bucks are in a better position than some other teams in the NBA. There are some teams who don't look like they're going to make the playoffs. I'm not going to call out teams here. I try not to do that. Um, who probably won't make the playoffs, and they don't have a Giannis type player on their roster either. So they are a little more stuck. You know what I mean? So you know, don't think too negatively. Um, Someone said, "Do you watch soccer?" Not really, no, to be honest. um, no, not really. I feel like obviously I watch, very sporadically, but I feel like I had gone through like I feel like the NBA is like my sport. Like it's like my sport, since I became a fan, a while ago. But I will say like when I was growing up, I would like rotate sports. Like there was a point where like I was a football fan, and like now I'm just like more a casual football fan. Although obviously like I could tell you players and what's happening in the game and all that stuff. But I'm saying like there was a time where I liked soccer more, and that was a long time ago. I felt like I rotated sports until I found the NBA is like my sport that I loved, and like now it's like the thing that I follow. So to answer your question, no, not really, not that much anymore, but you know here and there. So thank you guys so much for watching this live stream. I hope you enjoyed.